talk about gravity. I love how that's the
Hello
first word.
and welcome to the channel. I know most of you are expecting a Dresden discussion today, but it is that time of the year where everybody is sick. So, um, we had half of the team got sick. Then scheduling conflicts. So I figured I would jump on here with my best friend and we could just talk about some random stuff as tomorrow is indeed my birthday. I am becoming an old man. So that means you are too, Nathan.
Thanks,
Um,
man. Really appreciate it.
but I figured we'd just jump on here and talk about random stuff from movies, video games, books. Um, if anybody is hopping on here and wants to throw anything out there, um, we can talk about that. But this is kind of just have fun on a Sunday night. Um, so I will show my wife knows that I am a connoisseur of coffee mugs, and this is one of those self-stirring coffee mugs that I seen on the internet all over last year. And then if you have joined any of my other streams, you will notice that my voice should sound a lot better, and that is because this man here bought me the Yeti X microphone so I can have that silky smooth voice. But so we're going to jump into I just did my top, if you haven't seen it, I did my top 10 video games of all time. And these video games I did were kind of in the form of they had to have some kind of story to them. No sports games or no fighting games that were just fighting and there wasn't any story to it.
You spend more time playing those sports games than anything else. I'm amazed that you're not saying FIFA 08, man, has like the greatest story in the world or whatever.
Well, first off, that is soccer. Yes, not football. It is soccer, and I do not partake in that sport, sir. Okay, we're talking about the real football, gridiron football.
Are you trying to tell me you weren't watching the World Cup?
The only thing I did about the World Cup was seeing that the U.S. tied England, and so they're all mad about it because we don't even try at soccer, and we were able to tie the supposed best team.
I think it's all hot garbage.
Ball sports? Is that what you're saying?
I love them ball sports. They're so great. Hey, as long as the ball goes, we're all having a hell of a time.
But hey, yeah. So all right. So if you're gonna hang out with us, we will not bring up anything past Ghost Story. Any special plans for my birthday? And how am I enjoying Dresden Files overall? Well, I mean, I think I can speak for Nathan on this. This is our favorite book series of all time. At least it is mine for sure. I know Nathan does. You do have a little bit of preference for the sci-fi, so Expeditionary Force might be trying to bump.
Oh, no. They're two different beasts. Like you got urban fantasy, and then you got you got somewhat hard, like more of a harder slant sci-fi on that one. I mean, because the whole draw is to mess around with physics and everything. So he's Craig Allinson's applying all kinds of this like real world math and stuff like that to it, which is pretty damn cool. But I mean, you can't beat Dresden. He's got the fantasy kitchen sink going on there. Absolutely. Anything and everything you're thinking of is going to happen in that series, and I'm right here for it.
Yeah, Dominique, you are in the sweetest of spots for Dresden right now, because basically from, I mean, you could go even back. I mean, you could really go from Small Favor on, but really from Changes to the end, you're just, I mean, it's bangers one after the another after the another. I mean,
Joe, to be fair here, like he is on the book that is considered the weakest of the greats. Let's just put it that way.
well, okay, you know, I've been thinking about this, right? I've been thinking about this for a while because I've reread that section, what, four or five times now.
Probably around there.
Yeah. And I actually believe that it might be one of the most well-written books. But the problem is, you know, there was an audiobook issue, right? There was an audio,
which they were able to avoid, since they're starting it now.
Yeah, so when it first came out, there was an audiobook issue. And then
assuming you're using audiobooks, so there are people that still do read.
Yeah. But then also you have people who were just kind of unhappy with certain sections from the end, like some people with changes through, but it's not a bad book. It is not a bad book at all.
All right, we're not talking about the haters drinking haterade here. We're talking about like it. So for me, Ghost Story, by and large, it's a well written book. I love how this was just going to be a bullshit, thread. We're talking about Dresden. To me, Ghost Story, yeah, it's pretty damn well written, but overall, it's so alien to the rest of the series that it just feels off.
Yeah, I agree. It does. It is kind of like a Dresden character study. It's a lot of introspective, a lot of him looking at his life and what he's. Oh man, I don't. He says he's 40%. I don't know when this happened, so I'm not gonna say it. But man,
I'm not gonna say it while I say it.
But man, there's a part where if I had tear glands, inside of a house, something happens.
You talking about the part where he does the thing with the stuff? That part's so good.
No, but there's a part where somebody notices something, and and tears and stuff. Man, tears.
My emotions. That is something Jim's always been pretty good at. Just ripping your heart out through your earlobe. It's going to be an unpleasant experience, but you're here for it.
Oh my god! But yeah, like it's crazy how Jim has been writing what? Now there's 17 official books, and then what? Maybe 2 or 3 full books worth of side stuff.
2, I think. There's side jobs in briefcases.
Working for Bigfoot.
That's in briefcases. That doesn't count.
It does. It's its own thing.
It's in there. It's already in this.
It has a book
an omnibus. It's an omnibus. Okay, it's in the omnibus. You don't need to bring up. That's like saying Shattered Souls is one of his because it's got the short story with Molly in it. There's just a million different books. But that's bullshit. We don't count that. We count the omnibuses.
The part that made me cry so far was when he's. Yep. What I see? I didn't want to say it, but see, okay, they know what's up.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, that's exactly the part that I was talking about. Man, I was like, "You, Jim, you son of a... How dare you play with my emotions?"
So, what about those that? See, all right. Now, I'm going to tell everybody on this stream here, so that you know exactly how to get to you. All right. Here's a little bit of information. If you ask him to rate anything, if you ask him to give you a list of anything, from like top 10, top 20 of whatever subject. It does not matter. He will put his entire body and life and soul into that damn list. He will waste days of his life, weighing the pros and cons on these lists. So with that being said, what was this list of games that you were talking about? I'm curious.
You know what? It's so funny. I read Side Jobs after I finished Changes. I was told I should read Briefcases. No,
Yeah, it's probably a good place for it.
Well, when is Working for Bigfoot? Is that in Briefcases?
Well, again, the omnibus goes all over the place, but I think most of them take place after. Working for Bigfoot has some stories that are prior to that.
Well,
but
you got to do working. You got to do Working for Bigfoot before Skin Game.
So here's the thing when it comes to stuff like this. And Joe, like, not everybody's going to be all anal retentive like me and you and go, all right, well, where did this in that short story go and apply in the timeline? We got to do it in chronological order.
But that's why we're here, man. We're here to bring the next generation through in the best possible way.
Either do it the right way or just don't do it.
All right, so okay. Before we get too deep, I mean, we could just turn this into an hour-long Dresden discussion, but to the point of making a list of video games, I was thinking about you, Nathan, because I know that's what you always, you're like, if he makes a list, he's going to be anal about it and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And the problem was I wanted to get this video out in a timely manner, so I didn't get to be as anal as I normally would. So when I tell you the list, you may be like, well, what about this game? And I may have forgot it because
and that will literally break your brain and make you go back to your list
and
redo
it. That there will make me cry. So I think I had my honorable mentions. I did 2 honorable mentions, and they were Grand Theft Auto. And the way I did it was a series, and then I would pick the best game in the series, that at least the one I thought was the best. So on my honorable mentions were Grand Theft Auto 5, and inside of it was Grand Theft Auto 5, just barely beating Grand Theft Auto Vice City. So I mean, I just love those games, and they went to the max with Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, 3 different full-on storylines. They were great. And then my other honorable mention was Prince of Persia, and in Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones was, I thought, the best, of the Prince of Persia games.
Oh, man, no love for Warrior Within.
I like them all, but I just me, I love that struggle when you have like that creature or another person kind of inside you and you're struggling with it.
Oh, the internal struggle.
Yeah.
Where he had the Dark Prince in him and everything.
Yeah.
Well, see, for that same reason, I liked Warrior Within, because, in that game, you had this cat and mouse sort of story going on with the Dahaka. I think that's how you say it. Like basically the temporal demon that makes sure, the timeline stays consistent and everything. And you couldn't do shit to this thing. You could throw whatever you want at it, short of doing something like, I'm honestly surprised. This isn't a gameplay mechanic, but this whole time after I found out that the water sword kicked its ass, and you got to get all the water upgrades to be able to use that sword and everything, I'm thinking, why didn't you just spit in its eye? Spit in the damn thing's eye. It's saliva. It's wet. Blind the bastard and then knock it over.
It's contaminated. The water's contaminated.
Oh, is that your excuse? It's contaminated water.
Oh, now my number 10 game, right? And
I'm gonna pick apart this list. You know that, right?
Yeah. How often do we talk about this game? We talk about this game as one of the most underrated games ever made.
You're gonna say Too Human.
Too Human was number 10.
I knew it. Yeah, this is like the first huge taste of Norse mythology that I think we got inundated with. yeah, I knew who Thor was, and I knew all a lot of this Norse mythology stuff. That's sort of part of the cultural zygote, if you will. But when it comes down to Too Human, like they took all of that Norse mythology and then they went, well, what if we make it science fiction too? And
Yeah.
that was cool as hell. They took it and they're like, well, they're not gods. There is no Odin and they're not gods, but they are kind of gods because they can't die because they got all this tech. I was a big fan of that. That definitely was a really good game. It caused Silicon Knights to go bankrupt though.
Well, yeah, it was the most expensive game ever made up until that point. It was like $100 million or something crazy number. But I love the mechanics where if you had two weapons, your joysticks controlled each hand weapon. Like some people didn't like that, but I love that aspect.
Well, that you would call that flick targeting, like kind of like if you had firearms in your hands and stuff, you'd flick the joysticks to sort of target who you wanted to target, and then you pull the trigger to shoot them. That's not the very first game to do that, though. There was a game.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't the first, but it was the first one that I really remember.
There was a game on Xbox, the OG Xbox, called Advent Rising. Do you remember that game?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
that's the first one I remembered that had flick targeting. Ooh, that's a good list.
We got some overlap.
Yeah, except anything that has PS4 in the name because you're an Xbox fanboy.
Hey, no, actually, no, because now I know the top 5, so the list from like 9 to 6 might get a little skewed here. Okay, so I think for number 9 I had Dying Light.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And to me, Dying Light is the best zombie game ever made. Where they pulled Mirror's Edge mechanics into
I was going to say, take The Walking Dead and Mirror's Edge and make a love child, and you get that game.
I just love, and Kelsey, my wife, for people who don't know, she, sometimes, your wife or girlfriend like watches you play a game, but like she was invested. She was invested in this game. Like she was wanting me to come home every night and like, all right, you're playing Dying Light tonight, right? It's like she wanted to see what was going to happen.
And she's too much of a chicken shit to play it herself. That's
how good the story was. We still have, like, if we see a building, like a tiny shack building with fence around it, we're like, safe zone. That's how ingrained like that game was. I mean, I haven't played the second one. I think it's free with Game Pass, so at some point I'll get to it. But number 8. Now this could get a little skewed here, but I think number 8, and here's where PlayStation comes in, was Mortal Kombat. Now the original trilogy. You damn right. Okay. Now with Mortal Kombat, at the beginning,
top buttons with up. That's the code to give you
one button fatalities.
One button fatalities. That's it. And oh my god, the roster for trilogy was absolutely every person that had ever been in any of the Mortal Kombats prior to that.
I feel like they. And here's the weirdest thing about Mortal Kombat, because of the way that they make it, the graphics have, like, up until the last generation, the graphics have always been amazing. Even if you look back at that original PlayStation, and if you're not right up on the screen, you're like, you'll look at them and you're like, those graphics aren't horrible.
Well, they're rotoscoping real people in there. They actually have actors playing the parts and everything. So, they don't pixelate like, a Mario game would. You're not creating sprites. That it is. I actually just finally beat that game maybe 2 or 3 months ago. I was playing it on an older PC many moons ago, like 4 or 5 years ago at least, when how roughly right after it came out and everything, and the damn system crashed and I lost my save, and this was before cloud saves, So, I was probably 2 missions away from finishing that game. And if anybody, anyone's watching, I guarantee you, if you're a gamer, you can identify with this feeling. If you get 90 to 95% done with the story and then lose your progress, it demoralizes the hell out of you. You don't want to touch it.
Feeling ever.
You're done. No more. That game is dead to you. So I had to give myself a decent amount of mourning time, and then hop back into it and finish it.
All right, so here we're staying away from Xbox, right, for a minute.
All right, so that was an original PlayStation game, by the way. I'm talking about modern consoles. You will not touch a PS4 or a 5 with a 50-foot pole. I guarantee you there will be no PlayStation 4 or 5 games on this list, which means it's not definitive.
This is a definitive list.
Lies.
So
God of War 2018 and Ragnarok are masterpieces that you will never touch, and that's a tragedy.
I watched all the cutscenes, sir.
I know
how good. I know the story. The story. So my next one was Mario, Super Mario. Now, I had to think. Well, there's been 27 million Mario games. So which one could it be? Which one could it be? It has to be Mario 64. It has to be. That's the first game I ever remember putting a massive amount of playtime in, and not because it was so hard, but just because there was a bunch of stuff to do. Mm-hmm. And you could always do better in the little quests and stuff that they had you do.
They really pioneered the concept of the sandbox. They gave you a sandbox to make whatever castles you wanted, explore whatever you wanted in that game. And each little, it was great because they truncated it to where there were hub worlds. You would go to each different little pictures and hop into the pictures and everything, and you go to these worlds. So you never felt overwhelmed. You felt like there was a crap ton to do, but you didn't feel like there was so much to do that you didn't know where to start. You just hop in a world and you have 5 or 6 things. You got to get the 5 to 8 stars and then go to the next ones and such. And that was awesome. I to this day I remember playing that game for the first time, just being amazed by it.
Well, and it was one of those games too, and it's weird because I mostly remember this as 64, and maybe that's because you could have 4 people playing the 64 at once. Mm-hmm. But it was there were so many games on 64, and this was one of them where you could just pass the controller back and forth to your friends or play at the same time. There was a lot of that. There was well, I'm not so good at the flying section or doing the jump flips. You do the jump flips, and then I'll do this section over here. And you would work teamwork to try to beat this game or max it out, and But and then so now. Well, I think this takes us into the top 5, right? I think this is taking us into
wait a minute here. Okay, you had
6, top 6.
I was gonna say you were missing one here.
So now these games are a little bit more modern-ish, and these are just amazing games and game series. And I don't think many people would say that they're not. Maybe these aren't on everyone's top 6, but I think nobody could really say that these aren't great games. All right, so number 6 is Fallout, and in particular, Fallout New Vegas. Mm-hmm. Fallout 3, Fallout 4, but New Vegas to me was the best.
New Vegas was made by Obsidian, who had a lot of Black Isle developers come and work there for that company. Black Isles was who made Fallout, so literally it came home, and that's why it was so much better. Oh, Spec Ops: The Line is pretty damn good. Joe, you ever play that?
I don't remember. I mean, I remember Spec Ops being a big thing, but back in those days, I was probably on Ghost Recon. I was probably playing a lot of Ghost Recon.
That game right there, I mean, you can get it for a lot of consoles. It doesn't have to be PS3 there. Spec Ops was fantastic, and it's known it's known for its story, but I don't want to go into details. Yes, the ending is incredibly wild. Um, the ending changes everything. It's one of those type games, and you know me, I eat that kind of crap up. I like massive revelations, especially if I'm picking up on that revelation beforehand. You know, kind of like a
Oh
reverse
yeah.
gotcha. Like I figured it out, bastards.
Well, that probably works out because as you're listening to the audiobook of More Than a Gunslinger, you keep wanting to know ahead of time, like, is this person coming up? Is that going to
Every
happen?
every piece of information I get from you is a piece of that puzzle, and I'm putting that puzzle together. That's what you gotta do.
All right.
But
But yeah,
Vegas, though, was the definitive and best Fallout game, bar none.
yeah.
Simply because it came back to its own, to its parents more or less. And
Well,
it's so good.
and again, as we're talking about endings, and you know me, I'm a big moment guy.
Hmm.
And yeah, that the ending on New Vegas, you're just like, no spoilers for a 15-year-old game or anything, but I'm just like,
Well, so the thing about New Vegas, and this is I actually like to use New Vegas as a defining example of the right way to do this. New Vegas does multiple endings the right way. Each one feels distinct from each other, and they all feel like they've been earned. They feel organic from where you've gone, and they are drastically different. You could go wild card, you could go with the NCR, you could go with the damn Legion, you could go with Mr. House. I think that might be it. You think maybe you
Mr.
could go with the
House.
Boomers, but dude, you could go with 5 or 6 different factions here and have things drastically different. And I think a lot of games with multiple endings fail in that regard. Or games that should have multiple endings that don't. Mass Effect 3. Sorry.
Well, so the next one on my list is
Don't
the
you?
Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, I played Skyrim, I played Oblivion, and then I played Morrowind. I know a lot of people will say Morrowind was the best, and everybody will say that Oblivion was horrible. Now, I actually really like the side quests for Oblivion. It's just the Oblivion gates were so dumb.
Well,
They were
yeah.
just the same thing over and over and over again.
So Oblivion had 2 things going against it. One was that, and the next one is because of that. So the Oblivion gates were not a great drive. It wasn't a great, impetus to get you to go do stuff. Yeah. Skyrim, you can easily burn yourself on that one because there's just so much to do. But like with Oblivion, the Oblivion gates and everything, they were all repetitive. They were all, palette swaps. There wasn't anything interesting going on for the scenery. You didn't have a whole lot driving you. And because of that, everybody went and did all the side quests. Oh, nice.
Ah.
That's a pretty good one to start with. I mean, good taste at least. Because Oblivion, like the main storyline, kind of sucked. Everyone did all the side quests. Everyone overleveled the hell out of themselves, and they went back and when they had to do the main quest, it was a joke.
Well, I think that even in Skyrim, I did the same thing. I mean, I went straight to the Dark Brotherhood, straight to the Thieves Guild, and then
man. Like this, in particular, the Thieves Guild of Skyrim, they made so many strides with that story, like the way it's like it's written and everything, or the structure. Like Oblivion, they expanded on the Thieves Guild, and then the final quest for them, you're literally stealing a freaking Elder Scroll, which is just badass. But then Skyrim comes and like outdoes itself with the Thieves Guild. That's my little brother right there. Yeah, Jordan was crazy about RuneScape.
But yeah, like Skyrim, to me, and this is what I will say for a lot of these top games, is Skyrim was a perfect game for its time. I don't really think that there's
Which
anything.
re-release?
Huh? What's that?
So which re-release? It's
Of
come out
Skyrim?
multiple. Yeah, it's come out multiple
Well, when it
times.
first came out, when it first dropped,
11, 11, 11, right?
yeah, I don't think they could have made a better game at the time. There, with what they had,
Mhm.
it was as good as a game could get, at least in
Oh,
my
dude, I remember first starting that up, and like as soon as your character wakes up and everything, you actually can looking around at the vistas and everything, and going, "Holy shit, is this real life?"
The water. Remember, I was freaking out
Ooh,
at
yeah,
how
the
good the
water.
water
Hmm.
was.
And the
I'm like,
lighting
that's the
effects. It
most
was,
realistic water I've ever seen.
and people that want to laugh at that and everything, you have to understand. This came out like on the 360 PS3 generation of consoles and everything, and like you were saying, Joe, I'm pretty sure that they were pumping every last bit of power out of those machines to do that.
Oh yeah, they were maxing those things out, man. But all right, so now we're
Now
jumping
we're
in.
in the top five.
Yeah, well, I think now we're in the final four.
Oh,
And so number 4, The Witcher 3. Ha 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 ha. Yes, The
I
Witcher 3. Yes, and this is what I was going to say. The Witcher 3 is the same instance. When it came out, it was the perfect game for its time. I don't think they could have made a better game when The Witcher 3 came out. And I spent 200 hours in this thing, but of course, you told me you got to read the books. You got to read the books before you play
yeah.
the game. So
Oh
I went
yeah.
through the 7 books or whatever, and then I put 300, 400 hours in total. Yes,
Absolutely.
and it has the best expansions of any game in history. When you tell me, okay, a $15 DLC, you're giving me 20 hours of gameplay for that? Come on. And the stories.
Well,
Oh,
both of them. Hearts
Hearts
of
of
Stone.
Stone and Blood and Wine, but Hearts of Stone, man, the ending to that one, woo.
And if you didn't choose to defend, what was his name? You know, the guy from Mastermere and actually kick Mastermere's ass. Can you really say that you played the game?
Yeah, what is it?
Gantro Dim. Oh
Gotcha,
yes.
them. God.
Yeah. Seeing. Okay, so the roles in that world are pretty well defined for the most part. You know, like magic itself is pretty hard and takes a lot of energy for people to do and things like that. And you know, you see that with Yennefer and everything. And then this guy just all of a sudden just casually
Keep talking.
stops time, like just straight up stops time, and walks over to a dude with a freaking wooden spoon and shoves it through his eye. I mean, that's when you knew that guy was not to be trifled with. You know, to put it lightly. Not sure where Joe went. I guess he had a emergency bathroom break. That's what I'm gonna say. He had to go make boom boom. Oh, we are absolutely talking about The Witcher. JR over there is going through his list of top games, and if you haven't had a chance to watch the beginning of this feed and everything, you should, because I go into detail on a very easy way to take up days of his time. He will make the most in-depth lists like imaginable. He will put every ounce of himself into these lists.
Yes, we can always talk The Witcher.
I told everybody that you he must have had a bathroom break. He had to go boom boom or something.
No, I had to go yell at my son.
What's Alexander doing?
He's not wanting to jump in the tub, so.
Did you strike them? You got to strike them when they do that. That's how they learn.
Reading the books for a second time. Yeah, I've went through the books twice. Yeah, I think they're even better the second time around. I'm waiting. Honestly, I mean, I have so many books. I don't want to keep rereading, but especially now that now I have a BookTube channel and I do book reviews. I don't want to just reread everything, but I am waiting. Once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I think I'm going to reread The Witcher. I think I'll do a Witcher reread and maybe try to goat some people into doing live Witcher stuff.
Man, yeah, I would absolutely have to reread those. I did not absorb them so thoroughly like I do the Dresden books. Like I've read every single Witcher book, but when it comes down to it, I really couldn't give you much play by play. I remember, there's a few standouts. A few fight scenes where he's not just doing pirouettes everywhere. There's the one where like he's not allowed to hit the like the knight, the one little knight guy that's coming around. He's not allowed to actually harm the dude, so instead he smacks the guy's blade into his own face.
Yeah,
that one's a standout.
Yeah, there's oh my god,
the Golden Dragon.
There's I don't want to do any spoilers for anybody up here, but there's there's so much good stuff. All kind of.
Okay, classy there. Favorite series, favorite franchise is The Witcher. The games are amazing. The books are amazing. Aren't you excited for Liam Hemsworth?
Oh, Liam Hemsworth. Oh,
can't wait.
He's such a hunk. I cannot wait for him to take over after 3 seasons of us knowing Henry Cavill as The Witcher. And then guess what? I just have to act like they didn't change the entire person. We just went into an alternate universe,
Joe,
a new person is The Witcher.
All right, again, I can give you a clear, path to acceptance. Okay, what you have to do is you have to inject a little air bubble into your blood veins and everything, so that you can have a stroke. That'll take care of everything.
The only way. Okay, now have we all heard that they have 250,000 signatures wanting them to get rid of the writers?
Okay, and here's the thing. Okay, most fans of franchises like this, they don't waste their time doing these things. Like basically, there's a term for this, but it's like a microcosm of the entire fan base. If you have 250,000 to 500,000 fans willing to sign this piece of paper, for every fan that signs it, there's 10 that don't, but still feel the same way. So, like, this is a great example of Netflix shooting themselves in the foot, shitting the bed, and then rubbing their bloody foot into the shit.
Well,
and they're going to get sepsis from this and die.
Kelsey was asking me, okay, so if there's 250,000 people that have signed this, will Netflix give in?
Not on your life.
And here is the thing. The best case scenario that you could possibly get from this, is they backtrack, but also don't admit fault.
Well, that's the problem. They're never going to admit fault.
What they could do, the only way they could get out of it is say, oh, guess what? And this is what they're going to say publicly. They're going to be like, oh, well, you guys didn't understand what we were doing. What we're actually doing is we're doing a prequel with Hemsworth. He's the young Geralt, and we're giving Henry Cavill time to do his Superman stuff. And when he comes back, we'll pick it up where we left off. But he needs some time for that. That's the only way this would ever work out in the positive. Now, that's not going to happen. They're just going to shove Hemsworth down your throat. Not that I don't like Hemsworth. Well,
that's the thing, though. I feel bad about like,
I feel bad about him.
Yes, exactly. I feel bad because everyone's making the jokes and everything. Like Liam's fine. I have nothing bad to say about him as an actor, but like never for me especially, but like I've never seen a re cast of a character go well, and
Well,
let
and that
alone a
deep.
main character.
Well, going that deep. It's been 3 seasons.
Not to mention what they did to Haskell. That was so stupid. Wasted his character. Like my wife was like the Witcher fangirl to end all fangirls and everything. And then the second season happened. She's like, well, I know that Henry Cavill's coming back for the third season, but I just don't think I feel like watching that. Like you're killing off the momentum for your own franchise, and then the recast in season 4 is the death knell. Like the people that come back to watch season 3 are solely coming back to watch Henry Cavill.
Well,
And then when he's gone,
Henry
it's over.
Cavill and the guy that they casted to play Yasker, aka Dandelion, were 2 perfect castings.
I'll agree with that.
I think they were great. And actually, by the end of season 1, I was okay with Yennefer. By the end of season 1, I was like, okay, she's playing the character all right. I wasn't a fan of Triss. I don't. Yeah, and there was some other stuff too, but Henry would have done both. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I mean, he has stated on multiple occasions that he would have the book in his hand on set and be like, "Hey, that's not what it says here in the book. Why are we changing things that we don't have to change?" He knows that the writers didn't respect the source material, and from what I've heard, they actively mocked it. Now here's the thing that I don't get is when they first announced The Witcher, they said this Witcher will be based on the books, not the games, and Sapkowski was supposedly supposed to be a part of this because he felt like he wasn't really that big of a part of the video games. He was not.
Well, he was very bitter about those video games.
But okay, so here's what doesn't make sense to me. If they were the showrunner was pushing, this is the book, this is the author's stuff, and now you're changing everything, and you have writers who are disrespecting him. That
Well, so I do not like castings that aren't like true to the source material. Like I'm a hyper loyalist, or what's the word? Not loyalist. Traditionalist when it comes down to adapting a character. I want to see exactly how it's described and written in the source material.
Well, if they have been explicitly detailed out over and over and over and over again, then yeah.
Now that being said, I'm relatively forgiving and everything. I don't really like if you want to do kind of a race lift, so to speak, on a character and everything. I'm not going to like straight instantly hate the character because of that. Like a good example to me is Death from the Sandman series. It's recently came out. And everything
or Heimdall.
Heimdall, yeah, another good example.
Great.
The Heimdall was fantastic, and the girl that played Death.
From the books, no. Only Sapkowski and the publishing company get money from the books, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, and Sapkowski only got a flat rate of like a few $1,000s for the rights because he thought they were going to fail.
He got something like $2 million or something like that from the games, because he didn't think that the games were going to be big, so he took a lump sum instead of taking a percentage. They originally offered him a percentage, and he said no, pay me a flat rate. And they paid him a flat rate of a couple million or something like that. And then
it wasn't even that.
And then the games went on to make like $300 million.
Yeah,
or
he was very bitter about that. He took him to court or something, and they just they settled it out and everything. And as far as I know, everything's copacetic now because he's going to be or CG Project Red is going to be doing, good lord, a crap ton more Witcher games coming here in the future. We're going to get a remake of the original. I'm down for that because the original was kind of clunky. But
that was only on PC, right?
yes, it was only on
And
PC.
he was super duper white.
Oh
Wasn't
yeah,
he?
yeah, yeah. The guy was Geralt was, he looked like powder. He looked like the character from that movie Powder and everything. Just super pale white. Like he fell into a pail of white paint. But like the whole reason I bring that up and everything, and like the girl who did Death again, she was awesome. She
From
embodied the
Sandman, yeah.
character and everything. But the whole reason I bring this up is I was not a fan at all of their race lifting of Fringilla in particular in the Witcher series. That one made no
didn't make sense.
Well, exactly. See, not only did they change the race of the character and everything, which by itself isn't necessarily. I'm not going to freak out. Other than I'm a bit of a purist and everything. I do like them to look like the characters as described, but I'm not hating on that just because of the the change. But she's in like Fringilla is siding with what should be the most racist, xenophobic bastards in all of the Witcherdom, and it just doesn't make sense that they're letting her be so high, so high in their echelons and everything of their organization and whatnot. There, I mean, they should be straight awful and hateful towards her.
And here's the one thing, if I remember correctly, and weren't the Nilfgaardian witches or sorceresses, weren't they the prototypical witches? Because
if I remember right, they didn't have female like sorcerer slash witches over there.
There was some.
I thought they were male because like they were sexist and racist over there.
I want to say it's Nilfgaard, but one of the areas.
Sure, you're not talking about the. Oh gosh, why
because
the Brokilons, what are they called? Dryads. Are you sure you're not talking about the Dryads?
No, it wasn't the Dryads. No, because they were. I remember Triss and some of the other sorcerers were talking about. They were talking about the witches from there, and they're like, yeah, he goes, they don't even put on like magic to make you look good, and he goes, I even they wear all black, and they even have cats or something like that, and I was like,
classic witches.
But I love it.
Yes,
we could get off on like a 20-minute tangent about
easily. I mean, this is what we do, like this is why I kept telling you, if we just do a stream of consciousness without some kind of framework, it's going to go off the rails. It's going to go off hard.
But so
yeah, exactly. Right, like Classy says here, like if they pay respect to the soul of the character and everything, pretty much anything is forgivable. Like if you can close your eyes, hear them talk, or like just see their actions and go, that I can feel the character being embodied there. That's the most important aspect. But like I'm a sucker for logical consistency, and like just having somebody go to a racist, xenophobic culture, and not be what's the word, homogenous and everything with it and whatnot there, and not have at least some clapback just doesn't make any sense.
Well, let's go to my number 3
top 3
video game of all time, and this is definitely one of your favorite games of all time, and in particular Mass Effect 3 has the greatest ending.
Oh, don't even start that bullshit. Don't you start that.
Number 1.
You don't need me going on that kind of rant.
Everybody, if you don't like Mass Effect 3's ending, you are not a real video game fan.
Not only are you spewing bullshit, you going to gatekeep me too? Trying to gatekeep? Ugh. It's such a tragedy. That game gave me depression.
but in all honesty,
they're great games. They're awesome. But man, they go off the rails hard in the their last 10 minutes. The last 15, 10 minutes, they go off the rails so hard. And like again, when it comes to multiple endings, you got on the one spectrum, the good spectrum, you got Fallout New Vegas. They do it right. You got distinct endings. And then Mass Effect 3 is on the other side of that pendulum. And it gives you a pile of crap, and it calls it a Sunday, and it says speed up.
But I would say that Mass Effect 2
was Mass Effect 2 is
probably the best,
a masterpiece.
Although, I mean, literally, if you would just cut the ending off of Mass Effect 3, I thought Mass Effect 3 was an amazing game too.
Hey, Joe, I got to tell you, it's a monumental secret here, but if you buy it on PC, you can. And well, I have.
I mean,
now I can play the games again.
I mean, you can too if you want to play. If you want to play it on console and just cut it off right at the end.
Power button.
Make your own ending.
Just headcanon that shit.
Yeah, but it looks like they've backtracked that, and at some.
Don't say that until you see Shepard. Yeah. Don't you say they backtracked a damn thing until you see what they do with 4.
Hey!
I probably won't buy it.
Me. I was so invested in Mass Effect. I beat it twice. I beat all 3 games twice. One going full evil, and then full good. Well, actually, the first time I played, I don't play it either way. I just play it the way I would play it.
That's the right way to play it, in my opinion.
And it tends to be a little bit on the good side, but it's so much easier to play evil. Oh my God, the game is so much easier.
Well, you don't have to negotiate with anybody. You just shoot bastards.
You just kill them.
Here's my gun. Negotiate with that.
I just intimidate until they give me what I want, or I kill them.
Oh yeah, you got to tell your viewers too. When it comes down to Mass Effect 3 in particular, that game made Joe so damn mad he did the dishes.
Did Kelsey just text you that?
No.
She's like,
no one texted me anything.
I was literally talking to her before she left, and I was like, oh yeah, me and Nathan might do a live stream and talk about video games. And she goes, you got to talk about the time that on Mass Effect 3 you got so mad you went and did the dishes. At least when I get angry, I'm productive, okay? But that's because you guys were button pushers.
Oh, I will own that. I'll own the shit out of that. I was pushing every damn button possible. All right. So in this context, Joe and I were living together at the time, and Kelsey was coming over and staying a lot, and we were both in the room and everything. And this is after I had already finished the game, and I was deep into my depression because it gave me depression.
Like a week.
It was bad. It was like I lost a family member.
Yeah. And he's not joking about that. He literally was like inconsolable for at least 4 days.
Shit or anything. I wasn't crying and blubbering, but I was just down.
Yeah. Down. You were depressed.
I was.
You were because I was going to call somebody. You were clinically depressed.
Because again, that ending felt like I did everything from Mass Effect 1, 2, and everything in 3. I did all of it, and from the first game, they're like, your choices matter, and everything you do is gonna carry over, and you're gonna have drastically different endings. And then, like, there was some earlier in the live stream.
Oh, don't worry. If we're on here for any more length of time, there will be more Dresden for sure.
Oh, there's always time for Dresden.
Yeah, if you've jumped on and you were looking for it, because we were supposed to do a Dresden discussion tonight, half the crew got sick, so everybody's got kids and they all got the flu or something. So we're gonna try and do Dresden next week, but. We're just doing some rant and raving about video games, and we talked a little bit about Dresden, and But yeah, right now, Nathan's just trying to describe how he wasn't depressed about the ending.
No, no, no. I'm not. I'm not. There is no hyphen. There's no air quotes or none of that. I was straight up depressed. There's no getting around that aspect. But like everything, I thought, like I was going into this with that understand with that belief, because Casey Hudson, even though the guy, he's a lying, revisionist bastard now, saying, we never said these things. We got you on video saying, all your choices mattered and all this other stuff.
Turncoat is so
yeah, that
freaking
is
good.
the second one, because we're only doing two. We're doing Small Favor and Turncoat. Yeah, we had to drop down to two, because
We almost
every
went
damn
3 hours.
easy.
And it would have went if the problem is we got to start a little bit later. We got to start a little bit later. So yeah, I mean, we could easily go over 3 hours with those last three books. It would have been way over if people didn't have to drop out
easily. And they did. Nick Brown. Nick Brown down there asked if they changed the ending of Mass Effect 3. They did. There was such a strong backlash about how bullshit that ending was, and people that come in after the fact, they don't understand how bullshit it was, because the extended cut is now the standard cut, and everything.
I forget exactly what happens there, because I thought it wasn't much of a change.
What the extended cut from the originals?
Yeah, because I remember you were like, "Oh yeah," because we were all excited about getting the extended cut, and we heard they were going to change something. But then I remember you saying like they didn't, and I mean I played it, but I don't really remember it.
All right, so oh gosh, it's been so damn long since. So going off memory, because this game came out, Jesus, a decade ago at least. I think it was 2012 when it came out. First off, all three endings of the original one was carbon copies of each other. They were palette swaps. Every single, you could put them side by side, and every single scene was exactly the same. The only difference was the shade of color that the beam that shoots out of the bullshit crucible thing was. When they did the extended cuts and everything, what they did is they kept those. They kept the framework the same, but then they added contextual things, slideshows and such, and voiceovers on each one that was different to add some differentiation on them and everything. But for the most part, they were still the same. And they did change one very big thing that everyone was calling bullshit on when it happened. So in every single case, with the endings and everything, and I guess at this point, spoiler alert for anyone that hasn't played it and doesn't. And
all right. For the next like 30 seconds, if you plan on playing Mass Effect and you haven't, close your ears for like 30 seconds.
So basically, the big thing is when the beam hits the mass relays and everything and shoots all through the galaxy to nullify the Reapers and shit. The original endings, all of them, showed the mass relays utterly destroyed. They were broken and destroyed, and completely unrepairable. And everybody was like, "What the shit? We got billions of Krogan and Quarians and with the Turians and all these other races on Earth, fighting the Reapers here and everything. They're all gonna die. The Turians and the Quarians can't eat our food, and the Krogans are gonna just eat everybody. Everyone's fucked. We're all screwed. Everyone's gonna die, and everyone across the galaxy is gonna die because even with FTL without the relays, you're not getting anywhere in any time, any reasonable amount of time. So everyone's gonna starve to death and die. Awesome inferred Holocaust, man. I love the endings of those games, and so with the extended cuts, they changed that in particular. The relays now, when it shoots and hits the relays and everything, they show themselves deactivated but not destroyed. And now they can go, well, they can use them and repair them now. We can all go home. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Ignore the man behind the curtain. So, all right, there. I'm done. I'm done ranting about that.
All right. So now
Wait, but you didn't tell them what was going on when you got so mad that you had to do the dishes.
It was when I was going up against some like banshee, like stupid thing.
Basically, okay, I can't remember exactly what me and Kelsey were saying, but it really, like, to surmise it, it was a combination of get good, you suck ass.
Yeah,
Why are
it's
you
pretty
so
much
bad
like,
at this?
oh, is this a hard section? I didn't think this was a hard section.
Let me have the controller. I'll help you. Lots of condescension. It was great. It was great. You threw your controller. You went downstairs and you did the dishes.
Now, here's the thing. All the top 3 on my list could all be number 1. Like, I went back and forth. I
can't believe you put The Witcher before Mass Effect, though. Like, how could you do this?
This
is where you can get them
just
like
broken. The traveling of game to game to game and the saves and everying.
They do that in The Witcher.
It was so. I don't know. Mass Effect is awesome. But now this, if for you, Nathan, especially for anybody who knows me, would be shocked that this isn't number 1. But number 2 is BioShock.
Ooh.
And BioShock the original is my number 1. It's like to me, it has the best singular story, best writing in any single video game. Now, I liked BioShock 2, and some people would say Infinite was the best.
I'm one of those.
It definitely has the best gameplay. I'll give you that. The best gameplay. But even BioShock being, I want to say BioShock was on the original Xbox.
No.
Or was it on 360?
That was 360.
Yeah, it was. Must have been like early. But just, it was so beautiful for its time.
Mm-hmm.
For its time, it was gorgeous. And then just the steampunk aspect to it, and this past but futuristic, city that was, Rapture. I mean, and then spoiler alert for a 15-year-old game again, but that ending was.
It wasn't the ending to me. The ending wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't right. It wasn't the ending, but at the, the climax part of the game, you're just like, are you kidding me? Are you shitting me?
Yeah, the you're talking about like the penultimate like point of the game, I would say. Like the build up to the climax. Yeah, all you need to say is one sentence, and the people that know, they know. The people that don't know, well, they should experience it. But all you got to say is, a man chooses and a slave obeys.
Would you kindly? Oh God, oh my God. So, and the best part about that is I don't know how old anybody here who is watching this is, but I worked for a movie gallery.
Oh my God. I don't even think that's a state or an interstate wide thing. I think that's just an Ohio thing.
Man. No. Movie gallery was the second largest.
Was it
behind Blockbuster? Yeah. So it was everywhere. But my point to the whole thing is I beat BioShock before it was available. Because we used to get the games would go live on Tuesday, because they used to call it DVD Tuesday or whatever, because it was Tuesday when all the DVDs and games dropped. We get those the Wednesday before, so we get them 6 days before, and I just have to return it the day before it goes. And so I used to get to play all the new games before it hit the market, and that was one of them. I can remember telling you, I'm like, dude, this game is freaking crazy. You need to play this game, man. And I mean, I used to do that all the time. I remember playing like a Tiger Woods game, and there was literally I went online. This is like back when they first started doing online stuff, and there was only 10 people online in the world, because it wasn't even available yet.
Yeah,
it's
you get your ass banned for stuff like that nowadays.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't exist anymore. So, unless you work at GameFly or something like that, maybe you could get your hands on it. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, BioShock, and with Netflix has the rights to and has the rights to BioShock, and they have an awesome director on it. So we'll cross our fingers that they do the game justice.
Joe, I'm just gonna spoil it for you right now. It's gonna be shit. It's gonna be terrible because most writers now, like the problem you have is that most writers nowadays don't want to be a good adaptationist. They want to put their own spin on things, and you try to spin that in any way, you're going to ruin the message it's trying to convey. You can't. They're going to probably make it a dumb joke. Like, would you kindly pass me the butter?
Well, the thing about it
that's
is,
the only time it's ever said.
Well, the thing about it is, it's like the games and or the books were great for a reason. So if they were a smash hit, why would you change much about them? They were already super popular for a reason. Yeah, and the way I describe it to people, when it comes to doing adaptations, I think of like an 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the show or movie should be faithful to the book or video game. And then 20% of it you can tweak to make it palatable for general audiences. But you need that 80% so that the hardcore fans will be like, yes, this is our show. This is our game. This is what we love. And go tell everybody that they need to come watch the show too, or watch the movie.
Yeah. But I got one word that's that can sum up why they always get screwed to shit nowadays. Hubris. You got all these writers that think that they can do a better job than what's written on the page. They got to change everything and make it their own, and when they do it, they shit it up. These people want to recapture lightning in a bottle. They think that they're so good that you have this show or game or movie or whatever that was amazing and for its time. It was lightning in a bottle, but you can never put the lightning back. And they're running around in a thunderstorm with a bunch of bottles here, just throwing them in the sky. They're never going to catch the lightning. But when the bottle falls into the mud and gets covered in mud and gets full of mud, they'll present it to the viewers and go, "There's your lightning."
Mm-hmm. Well, and if we're going to talk about another amazing adaptation, we have to talk about my number one series of all time, and that is Halo. I played. It's weird, like a lot of these shooters now. A lot of these shooters, some of them don't even have campaigns anymore, or their campaigns are like an hour long, because they're all an afterthought for multiplayer. But that was my biggest thing with Halos. Yeah, I played multiplayer up through. I think I even played into Halo 4, and then it was just But the
Halo 4. Well, go ahead. I'll talk after you're done.
Yeah. But the campaigns were what made it. The story of Master Chief is what made those games what they were. It came along and it pretty much through Halo 3 perfected first-person shooters. Yeah, that was, at the time, that was, like I said, like the perfect game. Well, that was the perfect through Halo 3 was the perfect multiplayer shooter, but that's not what made Halo what it was. It was the story behind Halo, and following Master Chief and the Flood, and that story through the first 3 arcs was just golden.
You're saying it was good when it was Bungie's. Well, if that's not an unpopular opinion, I've never heard one. If anyone isn't aware, that was dripping with sarcasm. Halo was a defining game series. It defined the Xbox. It defined Microsoft. It defined gaming when it came out. Everyone tried to copy it. Everyone wanted to be it. You know, it was the cool kid on campus, and everyone wanted to be a part of that posse. Halo, the original Halo, was so revolutionary, and it was so impactful to gaming that it literally single handedly put Xbox on the map.
I
It
mean,
was the killer app. I've never seen another killer app quite like the original Halo.
yeah, it's crazy that the name of the original Halo was Combat Evolved.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's exactly what it did for shooters. I mean, it took shooters to the next level. And then there was such a jump from Halo to Halo 2
The best one, in my opinion.
that it was, as far as multiplayer goes, it was like that's what we expected. Like
Yeah.
they're like,
That was
okay,
the gold standard.
after Halo 2, it's like, okay, you have to do something amazing. Like you can't just copy. Like you were saying, like everyone tried to copy Halo. Well, now it's like you can't just copy it. You have to step it up. You know, and after Halo 2 and then Halo 3, you know, that's when all these, you know, Call of Duty and, you know, and all these other types of shooter games had to step up their level to, you know, what we're seeing today, which actually is getting kind of worse, but you know.
Well, that's a whole another can of worms though. Like the thing that's killing gaming nowadays is live services and microtransactions. Those two things are, for the most part, the cancers that are killing gaming for gamers. I mean, you have whales, of course, that are going to prop up and keep that shit going. The whales are going to give hundreds of thousands of dollars of their own money to these corporations, and there's enough of the whales to where they will keep doing it. But the average gamer wants nothing to do with that kind of stuff, and all it does is ruin series. Like Dead Space 3 was ruined by that shit.
Well, nothing is funner than listening to all what because they changed up a lot of the mechanics. Now I haven't played it yet because I really don't want to give them any of my money because their game is so inconsistent that I just don't think they deserve my money. But with Modern Warfare 2, they've taken out a lot of the crazy movements that that because like in Call of Duty, in Modern Warfare, you know, you can use. The one thing that infuriates me to no end is when you have somebody with a marksmanship rifle or a sniper rifle, and they're jumping in the air and shooting. I'm like, here's the thing. I don't mind that if you're playing Halo, okay? Because you're a super soldier in a powered, armored suit. Yeah, you could probably do that. But Call of Duty was supposed to be the realistic version, of that. And you have these people jumping around with freaking sniper rifles shooting. I'm like, no, it's impossible. That doesn't happen, And then they do these crazy, like, double bunny hop things. And I'm like... And then, so I guess in the new one, they're cutting a lot of that stuff out. And you have all these streamers that are getting mad, and they're like, oh, well, these 30-year-old dads with their 70-inch screen TVs, blah, 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 good job. And I'm like, and it's just
you're literally that group. You know that, right?
Well, and the thing, actually, the biggest thing that they're arguing about and they're mad is the thing that's always... Now, I don't know if it's still in Halo, but it's been in Halo since Halo 3, I think. Ranked gameplay, where you play against people in your own level.
Yeah.
How long has that always been in Halo, or is that...
Halo 2 had it, and Halo 3 had it.
Okay.
Halo,
so it's been there since Halo.
Since the multiplayer, since there was multiplayer, a live multiplayer on it and everything. Through Xbox Live, they've always had that.
But all these streamers are so mad about that now because they have to face people that are on their same level. And I'm like, yeah, you're mad because you can't run around and get, and go 5+, 20 kills to 5 deaths or whatever because you're playing against scrubs, so you get good, views for your channel or whatever. It's like, bro, like, they're trying to make it fun for everybody, So when you do have a good game, wouldn't it be better just here? How about this? How about have a good personality while you're playing and make it fun for your viewers rather than just acting like you're really good going up against nobodies.
Joe, that would be hard. That would be hard.
That would
That's
be
not
hard,
fair. That's not fair to them. Okay, they want to be Mike Tyson punching out toddlers. Let Mike Tyson punch out toddlers. Okay, we need to make that a hashtag. Hashtag that shit. Oh my god, that would be pretty funny on Twitter nowadays because that's a dumpster fire in its own right.
But here's the thing: it's like it's so much better when you're playing against people that are in your same level. And yeah, maybe you get shit on one match where you go 20 deaths to 9 kills. But then when you reverse that, you get to talk trash because you're like, guess what? You're just as good as I am. And I went 2.5 KDP on you, or whatever. You got to throw more dots.
Need more dots. That's a 50 DKP minus.
Leroy Hendrick.
All of that just dated the shit out of us. I just want you to know that. Man.
Oh my god.
Like, yeah, Halo 2 though was the best. I don't care. Like, and it was the best primarily because I was playing the hell out of that with a bunch of friends and everything, back in middle school into high school. Like, oh god, that came out in what? Oh, it came out in 04, I think, right? Was it 04 or 05? Halo 2. Was that 04 or 05?
I think.
That would have put us in what grade? We graduated in 7.
Sophomore, junior? Sophomore.
So, yeah, around there. But the point is, like the time, as we were becoming teens and trash talking, which is a part of the game. I don't care. I don't care. Anyone can complain about like shit talking people in these games and everything. That is a part of it, and it makes it hilarious and fun. Shit talking is a part of these games. You cannot remove that. That's what the mute button's for. I've done it. You've done it. We've all done it. We've all hit the mute button on somebody that pisses us off and we want nothing to do with.
Yeah,
Simple.
I mean, and if they're being annoying and it's not funny and it's not good, yeah, just mute them.
Mute them. Be done with it. Like the people that put music on or like grab their microphone and shove it down their throat, like mute those bastards. But when you have 4 or 5 guys just riffing on each other, that's some funny shit. And I miss that. But and then again, I haven't really played much online anymore nowadays anyway. Because I mean, like you were saying, Halo 1, 2, 3, and even Reach, which you were real big on Reach. That was the one you played the most of. Like those games were straight up diamonds. They were awesome. And people are going to call me a Bungie purist on this, but ever since 343 took it, it went to shit. And one of the reasons it went to shit.
The problem is they tried to be Call of Duty.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Once Call of Duty took off, they were like, oh no, Call of Duty is selling just as many copies as us. We got to start being more like them.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like they took a series that set the trend. They took the trend setter. We were talking about Halo being the a gaming keystone moment and everything. They took the trend setter and they started to follow the other trends, and it lost its identity to me. Like I will to the day I die, I will call Halo 4 Call of Halo Modern Battlefield because that's what it is. It's crap. And like after Halo 4 came out and everything, the story was okay. I actually liked the story.
Yeah, the story was good.
Decent story. It wasn't the greatest story ever written or anything like that, but it was solid.
I mean, it was following Halo 3. I mean, come on. It was going to be hard to follow that story.
I'm just saying, who doesn't want to have sex with a robot? That really sums it up right there, man. Like especially considering she's made of light. I mean, that means you can poke it anywhere, and it's game on.
Freaking, it might be game over after that one.
Yeah, probably. That's a hot
Oh,
take.
oh my
Um,
God, man.
but you know, that was solid. And then they went off the rails with Halo 5. You haven't played that. You should. Did you ever get around to watching those trailers or those cutscenes?
Hmm.
So you saw what they did with Cortana. After they
Yeah,
killed her, just let her die. Just leave her dead. It would have been great if they would have just left her dead, because they they took what was for the most part a pretty well made, ending to her story and the Master Chiefs and everything, because they had that, like I was just saying, the weird tension with the two of them and everything. They even let Cortana touch him like with her hands because they did some weird hard light crap. And then she sacrificed herself and she's gone. She did. Spoiler alert to anybody forgot to say that. We're getting real bad about that, aren't we? And then Halo 5 comes along and they're like, psych! She's not dead. She's just psychotic. She's your crazy ex. And just like a crazy ex, Master Chief can't quit her. So he's going for it. And then you
but
haven't
yeah,
played
I
Infinite
mean,
yet, have you?
what's that?
You haven't played Infinite yet either, have you?
No, I have it downloaded now. It's fully downloaded and everything. So I still got to play Scorn. I got to play Dying Light 2.
Oh, we could go on and on about how weird Scorn is. I won't touch that with a 50-foot pole. Not on this.
But you know, we're running out here at 9:30, so I got to make sure I get my son to sleep. But let me know in the comments if you're still here. Hopefully you're subscribed. We do this kind of stuff every once in a while. Next week we will have the Dresden discussion. Hopefully everybody's healed up and everybody people don't have the flu or anything. But we'll definitely have it next Sunday. And then this is what I like to do. I like to have live discussions and do interviews, and I'm working on some more interviews for you guys. But let me know in the comments section what are your favorite games of all time. Of course, my list is the definitive list. You can have your opinion, even if it's wrong. I will allow you to have that opinion. And Nathan, quickly take us out here. What is now mine's definitive, but what's your opinion for your top 3 games of all time?
All right, first I want to say this. When he says it's definitive, he's lying to all of you and himself. That's the funny part. He's lying to himself. He can't make a definitive list. No one, like, ask him in a week, he'll give you 10 different games. But my top 3 favorite games, in no particular order: The Witcher 3, Halo 2, and you know what? God of War. I'm just going to say God of War because 2018 and the modern ones, they're one story. So screw you. They get to be both.
I'm surprised you didn't say Gears of War.
Gears of War, solid. It is solid, but after the third game, they kind of went off the rails on that shit. And I just, you can't overstay your welcome. You just can't overstay your welcome in a story. If you tell a good story and you've tied it up in a really pretty bow, leave it the hell alone. Walk away. Because if you go in there and you start trying to tie other stuff to that bow or stretch it out or whatnot there, guess what? It doesn't look as pretty as it did once before. Like, just know when to stop.
And that, you know what? And that is a good part for us. Know when to leave. Leave on a high note. So I appreciate all you for watching. We'll do this again. If you guys enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments, and maybe if enough people like this, we'll do more stuff like this where we can just make fun of Nathan's lists and everything, and and let everybody know that I was right.
Right.
Have a good one, everybody.
See ya.